Welcome to the launch of Charlie Mike. I'm Tommy McFly in Washington, and we have an exciting program for you this evening as we introduce you to Charlie Mike, presented by Pivotal Moments. Over the next 40-ish minutes, you're going to learn what Charlie Mike sets out to do, meet some inspiring veterans from all branches of our armed forces, and find out how you, yes you, on the other side of the screen can get involved.
Charlie Mike, presented by the nonprofit Pivotal Moments, will be an edutainment platform providing uplifting and inspiring content created for and about members of the military community transitioning to the next stage of their lives. We're helping veterans worldwide to Charlie Mike or to continue their mission. Charlie Mike will provide motivational storytelling for active duty military, veterans, and their families. Our goal is to celebrate those who are making meaningful contributions to the military community at home and around the world.
My name is Carlton Kent. I retired as the 16th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps after serving 36 years on active duty. And it was an honor for me to serve with great Americans across the military service, especially serving with those great Americans over in combat. Their dedication and their sacrifice is just amazing. And what you just saw is just a quick glimpse of what's in store with Charlie Mike. These stories and the resources you will find on Charlie Mike will keep you focused as you start transitioning from active duty out to the civilian sector. Less than 1% of Americans serve ever in our military today. And that less than 1% is truly dedicated, and they're focused. And they bring a lot of skill sets from the military out to any organization or any employer to enhance that organization capabilities. These skill sets are unmatched. As I think back 16 years ago, I was the Sergeant Major on the ground during the Second Battle of Fallujah. I was the 1 Sergeant Major. And it was amazing seeing these great Americans who sacrificed in their dedication during that battle. That was the most intense battle since Way City, Vietnam, as far as house-to-house urban fighting. And I bring that up today because it just reminds me this month, that time, 16 years ago, it was great Americans like you're going to see on the website with Charlie Mike. It's going to be great Americans like you that's transitioning, which have represented those same individuals that fought during the Second Battle of Fallujah, that have been fighting and have sacrificed, and their family sacrificed each and every day for the last 18 years. And the country has a moral obligation to assist you and your families with your transition. And I'd just like to introduce a great American. He earned a spot on the Division I football team. And also, he was a great boxer. And he was a champion of boxing. He's a Navy SEAL, which seen combat. He's dedicated. He sacrificed. And he has a great story. Like most military members, they don't beat their chest about what they have done. They don't brag about what they have done because they know that it was part of their duties. So Rick Slater is one of those that would never beat his chest. He would never brag about it, but he's truly the warrior class of our nation, like thousands and thousands that have fought over the last 18 years of war. And that warrior class is dedicated, and they would transition and do great things for America, even out in the civilian sector. So I'd like to introduce you to Rex Slater.
I'd like to tell you a bit about myself. First of all, I am one of you, a Warrior brother and a Penn State football player. My name is Rick Slater. I've currently served 19 years in the SEAL teams. I did 9 years in the teams, got out, walked on here, and after graduation, I moved to Brazil. I was in Brazil when 9/11 occurred. After that, I felt it was my duty to America to return to the SEAL teams and go after the enemy. Here's what I know about loyalty. Loyalty is a bond between a group of men that is forged in the hardest of times. The times when it's easiest to run and nobody blame you, but you don't. Because you know the man to your left and right will remain and die facing the enemy before they leave you. This also reflects your character, which is what is needed more than anything right now. At some point, failure occurs. And in my business, it's usually catastrophic, very tragic. Guess what? Get your head back in the game and you, Charlie Mike. Continue mission.
I would say you never stop transitioning. As a military member, you have a family, you have a unit, you have brothers and sisters on your left and right, you have leadership that guides you, that helps you. There's almost every resource you need in the military, housing, food, a nice grocery store that's very affordable for you to get by, free medical care. And, when you leave the military, you lose your military family, you lose those resources, and you become a veteran, basically sifting through a bunch of resources, trying to find your way, but you're doing it on your own. So now you have transitioned from becoming part of a family to be an individual. And I would say that's the hardest part of the transition.
Hi, my name is Zoe Rodriguez Keaton, Gunnery Sergeant Rodriguez Keaton, retired, that is. Hoorah! So my retirement ceremony was a little bit less than 2 months ago, and I can tell you that my life has changed completely. It feels like it was an eternity ago since I was around and surrounded by my fellow Marines. The transition to the civilian world is not easy. That leadership that you're able to act on every single day, you lose all of that. And in a sense and in a way, I lost my identity because my entire adult life, I have been leading Marines. I have been a Marine. I have put on the uniform. So there are two things I miss the most. I miss putting on the uniform every single day. It was, and it is, who I am. And I miss leading Marines. I miss knowing that I am having an impact on somebody's life each and every single day.
The one thing that I would sort of ask of anyone who has not served in the military, who's working with a veteran, is to really listen and hear what they say about their own experiences and try to embrace those. I was working at a very large pharmaceutical company that you would know if I said the name, for someone who wasn't a very good manager or leader. And he had said something to me that sort of disturbed me. And I wound up chasing him out of the building and into the parking lot. And he drove back to our corporate office and had a conversation with our boss. And I thought, well, I'm probably going to wind up working at UPS now for the rest of my career, unloading trucks. And got called to the office. And it turned out that that our boss was a retired Air Force colonel who had some experience with transitioning military members, in particular Marines. And he made that sort of a learning experience for me. And I thought, wow, someone who really knew what it was like for me to go through some of the issues that I faced. It turned out he was a Vietnam veteran who had had his own experiences. And so what I learned from that is that all of us, all veterans, are responsible for each other. We pay it forward. So I have spent, from the day that happened for me, the rest of my career looking for ways to pay it forward.
Sir, I'm sure there are many, but would you share with us a story of a veteran who you helped the way your manager helped you?
I would hope so. I'll tell you one. We had a young man, 2 tours in Iraq and a tour in Afghanistan, Marine, a former Marine sergeant, doing a great job for us. He was with us about a month and a half. And on a Sunday evening, he drove to the 4th floor of a parking garage and jumped and attempted to commit suicide. Our chief operating officer at the time was a Naval Academy graduate, a retired Navy commander. At the time that happened, this young man spent 2 months in the ICU and in rehab. We spent about 6 months helping him get back together. We found a program to get him into to help him with his mental health issues. And today, he is working with veterans organizations to help other veterans transition as well. So we all pay it forward.
Charlie Mike is a resource for veterans and their families to assist them transitioning out of the military. One of our partnerships we are especially proud of is Code of Support, changing lives by connecting military, veterans, caregivers, and their families with the support they have earned through their service and sacrifice. Our Code of Support partnership is incredible, and they've taken things to the next level on their own using technology in collaboration with Boodle AI, employing an artificial intelligence algorithm to match the needs of transitioning service members. On the Charlie Mike podcast, you will hear these types of conversations all the time, inspiring people, passionate and dedicated to helping military successfully transition. I want to introduce you to Christina Kaufman, a wartime Army wife and co-founder of Code of Support, and Army veteran France Hong from Boodle AI.
One of the things when you transition is all of a sudden success isn't defined for you. You have to define your own success, and it can be bewildering.
Christina, in that bewildered state, when a lot of service members come to you, or maybe a husband of a service member, or a wife, or a parent, or a kid, or a friend, finally gets them interested in, or gets them to click on Patriot Link, what does that process look like from bewildered to transitioned and thriving?
So, we have 2 interrelated programs. Patriot Link is the technology platform that anybody can use. You can go on to patriotlink.org right now, sign up for a free account, and start looking for opportunities and resources in your community. For instance, if you're looking for a scholarship for yourself or your kid, or you're looking for transportation to get to medical appointments, things like that. Case coordination program is really for people who are in that about 30% of our community that are really struggling. It's those types of really kind of messy but real life things that Code of Support is really good at solving, and Patriot Link and supporting that, because you can't, when your hair is on fire, you can't navigate your way out of a paper bag, right? Particularly a organization as bureaucratic as the VA or the DoD. You just can't do it, right? So being able to lead an organization that can lead people to what they have earned it's such a great feeling. I mean, I get frustrated every day with the system, just like everybody else, but we have the roadmap, we have the technology, we have the relationships to leverage so we can actually do it. And we want to put those relationships and map in the hands of everybody else. If Patriot Link is widely deployed and millions of veterans and their families are using it, we could solve a big part of this. A big part of this is people don't know where to get the help that they need.
What Christy described is one of the most powerful ways to apply AI machine learning, which is just to enable you to get better insights into the data you already have. This data is out there. The problem is it's split up among lots of different organizations, and nobody has the time and energy to really dive into it and draw out the insights in a way that are useful and in a timely way, right, to take action. And so what Christy is describing is a wonderful application of AI machine learning to provide analytics, which is getting insights from information. And so having those kind of insights in real time will now allow organizations that want to make a difference to deploy their resources in a timely way in the places that can make the most difference. It's sort of like how we try to find prospective donors. They're going to find prospective constituents that way. And that's going to be so incredibly helpful to the veteran community as a whole.
So to follow up on that, the DoD, the VA, the CDC, are they like thank goodness for Patriot Link, or are they like, you again, right? Do they know that they're all tied up in bureaucracy and they're like, thank goodness someone on the outside is helping us navigate this? Or are they like, Christy's calling, turn off the lights, pretend like we're not home?
So it's probably a little bit of both. I will say that the VA anyway has come a long way in the past 9 years since I've been doing this. I think that there's a recognition that the government cannot do this alone. So I think that for us, generally speaking, we're working well with government agencies, but they're so bureaucratic, it just takes forever to get where you want to go.
My name is Pat Brown. I retired from the Navy after 27 years in 2014. Achieved the rank as a captain in the Navy. The continue the mission, the Charlie Mike, for me is really about helping others and giving back. And so, my inspiration as a Blue and Gold officer for the Naval Academy and as serving on the Congresswoman Wexton's Service Academy Advisory Board, you would be amazed by the talent, the young talent, the intelligence, just the passion of the younger generation who want to wear the uniform. That level of comfort knowing that someone, sort of the next man up, right? The next man up is going to be able to handle the job, and that you're able to kind of sleep at night because you know the individuals that you talk to, the younger individuals that you talk to that are going to go off to, whether they go off to the NROTC or ROTC or to the service academies, you feel comfortable that they're going to carry the baton.
Thank you, Pat. And thanks to our broad and diverse support for Charlie Mike. Charlie Mike ambassadors in the military and in civilian life are so important to our mission. Charlie Mike is building out the community, and we want you to join. Tell us your story at charliemikevets.org. We want to share your transition experience, and we want to partner with organizations who align with Charlie Mike's mission of providing uplifting and inspiring content, storytelling created for and about members of the military community, helping you transition to the next stage of your life. We're helping veterans worldwide to Charlie Mike, or to continue the mission. One exciting Charlie Mike series will be the Warriors 2 series. Right now, I'd like you to meet two men who served our nation: a Warrior 2 world-class Virginia winemaker and Warrior 2 trailblazing chef and culinary entrepreneur.
I'm a 30-year-old overnight success story. 30 years of work to finally get you successful. Wine allows one to think about time. You have a bottle of wine that was made 3 or 4 years ago that someone took a lot of time to create, and the complexities in that glass is, I think, incredibly important. My father was RAF in World War II. I was born in England and was naturalized as a little kid into the United States. My mother's American. I chose the U.S. Air Force because of the education. Military gives you the discipline and the ability to believe in yourself, to get up at dark 30 and do things that you don't want to do, to lose yourself and de-identify yourself and work for a team and a greater cause. And I've used that successfully in our wine industry and my businesses to allow the ability to work for a team, to lose self. We don't talk about authorship. We talk about success. We talk about goals. After 30, 35 years in the wine industry, there's so much I don't know. The private sector, to be successful, you need to have curiosity. And if you have curiosity and you have the will that the military teaches you, you add in the discipline and the will to curiosity, and that learning experience builds you into whatever you want to become. And I see a lot of people that have potential, have ability, that aren't utilizing it. I think the military is very good to have people break out of themselves, and you need to have self-belief.
I had moved up for cooking to the commanding officer, from the galley to his personal chef. And so you have somebody of that caliber cooking for dignitaries. I cook for President Bush Sr., I cook for Bruce Willis. And then I get out and I didn't know like which direction to go, so I work at Applebee's, as a line cook. There were a lot of different cuisines that we had to cover: Mexican, French, Southern, Hawaiian, Asian Pacific. It was really to make more soldiers of diverse backgrounds to feel more at home in a place where is foreign to us, whether we're in the Gulf or around the world, they can still feel like they have a place where they can sit at the table and enjoy what everyone loves food. So we had to kind of make our own path. It wasn't necessarily like anyone that we could go to. I remember getting a pamphlet from the Navy. It was like how to transition, but that was kind of like just some standardized information on where you could go for benefits. And what I found was what the military does prepare us for is that entrepreneur mindset, because they teach us how to be self-starters, but you just have to know your skill and know your capabilities and be able to step out on faith to kind of, go out there and make it happen. I'm the type of guy that I'm not scared to fail. I've been in some tough situations. I've been homeless before. So I would say, number one, like, put yourself out there. I had to come back to the drawing board several times, and that's one of my lessons too. Be excellent where you're at. If you're cooking for 12 people, make it the most amazing food. At each level, I tried to be excellent, and where I failed or where I felt like I needed improvement, I would go back, and like I said, go back to school. So my skill and my talent is cooking, but you may have to wear several hats to get the job done, to get your desired result. That's a military thing, I will definitely say, because unexpected things happen all the time in the military, and we have to be able to adjust at a moment's notice. Those core things are drilled into us in boot camp, like honor, courage, commitment, those things, and just how we operate in the military will always be there for as long as I live. And I think they're very useful and helpful. And actually with this time, the pandemic has allowed, and I know it's allowed a lot of people, but just to be creative again, to think their way out of situations. Us as human beings, we have a natural mindset to survive. Out of that comes, creativity. Out of that comes ideas and inventions. I'm looking forward to all the things that I've got on the horizon since COVID. It's because it's allowed me to slow down and kind of really think of what I can do to make more money and to be successful.
Chris Kyler, ladies and gentlemen. What resilience, what adaptability in whatever life has thrown at him. Chef Kyler's mobile kitchen, where we filmed that Warrior 2 segment, can show up anywhere and delight groups of any size. I'm sure it would be great to do some socially distanced roasting. Speaking of roasting, we're joined by comedian Jeff Ross, who's traveled the world visiting troops. His documentary, Patriot Act, captured his war zone experience. We're thrilled to have him with us today for Charlie Mike. Jeff, why do you continue to support the military?
I support the troops because I have to do something for my country. I talk smack for a living. I'm a nightclub comedian. The U.S. military protects our right to say whatever we want, and that's how I make my living. It's what gives me joy, making people laugh, doing jokes that you can't tell in other countries. So, hats off to the U.S. military for protecting our freedom of speech.
Jeff, tell us about your documentary Patriot Act that you made on a previous USO trip.
During my first USO tour in 2003, it was the early days of the U.S. occupation of Iraq, and I went. I was invited by Drew Carey. I was nervous. I didn't know what I was getting into. I'm not sure how dangerous it was. I was scared. I didn't really want to go, but I felt guilty saying no, so I went. And I brought a little handy cam with me, and I was holding it out the window of Black Hawk helicopters and videotaping Saddam's palaces. And because I'm not a journalist, the troops opened up to me and told me how they really felt. And when I was flying home, I realized I had some kind of snapshot of a certain time in American history, and I felt compelled to edit it together and make a documentary.
Hey, if you see a Starbucks, will you pull over?
First stop was Saddam's old Republican Palace, which is now coalition headquarters. They have a meet and greet with the soldiers and a quick lunch with the new most powerful man in Iraq. It was the worst potato salad I ever had, but he did give us some pretty good insight into our audience.
What you are seeing back in America has almost nothing to do with the tremendous work that they're doing and the successes they're achieving.
And I think it made me a better comic, but most importantly, it made me a better person, better American. That's why I'm thrilled to be with you supporting Charlie Mike, presented by Pivotal Moments, and its mission to share uplifting and inspiring content and storytelling created for and about members of the military community who are transitioning to the next stage of their lives. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
We now go to MSNBC's Richard Louie in conversation with Jazz Booth, an Army veteran and founder of the organization Final Salute, which provides for homeless female veterans and their kids. Richard has a new documentary which just premiered called Sky Blossom, and Jazz has been an inspiration to countless people as she continues to advocate for service women who continue their mission and face very unique struggles.
What did you learn about caregiving while making Sky Blossom that surprised you?
I'm okay. That was the one thing I took away from 4 years of filming and editing, is that, you know, from the Midwest, the South, the East, the West, the Pacific Islands, Black, Latino, Native American, Asian, White American, everybody.
I'm 15.
I'm 26 years old.
I am 15. I'm 21.
How do you remain so strong?
Humor.
Jazz, at the end of the day, I was like looking at your trainee and your airman and going, we are okay. And there's a lot of hope in front of us. I guess your journey also brought you to create Final Salute.
Right. So I was a previously homeless woman veteran due to Hurricane Katrina and a cancer diagnosis that left me unable to deploy to Iraq in 2005. So that let my auntie having to be my caregiver due to the lack of supportive services for women veterans. And I also was a mother at the time. So it wasn't just she was caring for me, she was also caring for my son. And I think some people forget about the, second and third order effects. So caregiving isn't just the person. The caregiving could be their bills. The caregiving could be their medication. The caregiving could be housekeeping, making their meals, helping them get to the bathroom, bathing them. For a lot of people, they think on the surface, oh, you just sit with them and make sure they're okay. And in some instances, you have to be their everything in order for them to have quality of life, basically.
What does the Marine say? What does the airman say? What does the trainee say to you today when you're at home? Your husband, your older son, your younger son say to you that keeps you going?
Family comes first. We take care of each other, whether we're, close, whether we're apart. We always check on each other. Even though I'm married to a Marine and my son is an airman, they're my battle buddies. And my little one, we all check on each other. We make sure everyone is okay. But, even though you're in people don't understand that even though you're in close proximity, you can still feel miles apart if you're not connecting.
One of the hardest things a strong person can do, but one of the bravest things is to ask for help. And you did that. You're not a failure. You're human. We all fall in hard times. I tell people look at veterans just like, oh, they're the strongest people ever. They can get through anything. Military doesn't prepare us for this.
People think very narrowly about caregiving, and it's such a broad spectrum of what you can do and how it relates to people. And so for us, we make sure that we are all okay all the time. From me to you, I appreciate you being a caregiver, but I also appreciate you documenting what actually caregiving is, the many subcategories to it, and how everyone, can be a caregiver. I enjoy taking care of my family. I appreciate them taking care of me, and I also appreciate what you do, and also you putting it on a bigger platform. So from my heart to you, thank you.
It was a pleasure to show how all these different families from all these different states and regions of all ethnic backgrounds we're different, but at the end of the day, we're all the same.
Thank you for joining us today. And I ask you to go to Charlie Mike website to learn more and get signed up as a veteran that's transitioned or a veteran that already have transitioned. The website again is charliemikevets.org. And also, it's many warriors out there that have stories, just like the stories that you have heard today. And if you're one of those warriors, go to the website and get your story out there to assist other warriors that's transitioning out of the military. Now, I would like to turn it over to Bob Morgan, the founder of Charlie Mike, and Tommy McFly for a toast.
Thanks, Carlton, and thank all of you for watching tonight's program. We're excited to launch Charlie Mike, and our goal is, and our mission, to really educate our veterans, our active duty military, and their family on mental wellness, and also inspire them to take action so that they can flourish and thrive in life.
And Bob, there's a bunch of people who came together tonight to make this all possible. We want to give them a big round of applause now. So socially distantly round of applause, yes, wherever you might be, right?
Right. Today's launch couldn't be possible without a broad and diverse team of military members, veterans, civilians, all coming together to continue the mission to take care of our veterans. We have a very special group of advisors who have already jumped in and provided strategic advice on types of content, types of education, and how we deploy this to our military community. Those are Jazz Booth, Patrick Brown, Tony Crescenzo, Bob Goodwin, Greg Jones, and Robert McCreary.
It's been wild to put this together and to get their counsel and to get their advice and their perspective. It was so important. And I know there are more advisors on the way, and just a big thank you to everyone who made it happen.
And also what's interesting is this is obviously a sensitive topic and a heartfelt topic, but some of the humor that comes out with some of these veterans is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So we also have a special group of ambassadors, and when we met these folks, they jumped in and immediately started spreading the word. They became our champions, our voice. They're building out our network, and we look for more of those to continue. We want to do a special thank you to Lisa Barber, Lorna Mae Devereaux, Ivan Perry, and Zoe Rodriguez Keaton.
It was great to have Zoe in the show. She retired 2 months ago, and so it just shows the difference phases of transition, whether you did yesterday or 30 years ago.
And the passion and the energy they have, to jump back in and continue to support not only the veterans, but the active duty military people, the brothers and sisters that they just left. It's just a great group of people.
Absolutely, absolutely. A big thanks to the organizations who came together to make this happen as well. Artists and Athletes Alliance, Boodle AI, Code of Support Foundation, Final Salute, VetFran, and Washington Exec.
And also a special thanks to these folks who jumped in, not only jumped into the show, but also did a number of things, on specialty.
Mm-hmm. Behind the scenes, got involved, made it happen, gave us their perspective, and lent their voice to this project. Jazz Booth, Jeff Ross, France Hong, Christina Kaufman, Chef Chris Kyler, Richard Louie, Chris Pearmond, Zoe Rodriguez Keaton, Sonia Gavankar, Dan Gregory, the Pivotal Moments team, Ben Morgan and Pamela Sorensen, the Good Seeker team, Eric Ayers and Aaron McNamara, Penn Fed Foundation, to Gear Shift, whose beautiful studios we're using today.
Yes, thank you very much to all those special guests and special contributions. And to Tommy, you and Kelly and your team, thank you to Real Fun DC. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with you. You've made this a reality in today's new world of virtual launches. Thank you very much. It's been a blast, and we look forward to continue to help build Charlie Mike in a lot of different formats in the future. So thank you.
You're very welcome. And we haven't even had the wine yet, so that means it's true. Bob,
Cheers.
Thank you very much for driving this mission, for getting behind Charlie Mike and making it happen. And speaking of the toast, I do want to toast to Charlie Mike. We got a Pearman Sellers Black Ops 6th mission. Cheers.
Cheers
to Charlie Mike. And the mission is just getting started. So we'd love for you to join us at charliemikevets.org to learn more and find out how you can get involved. And as we leave you tonight, we toast to Charlie Mike with a song by country recording artist Mickey LaMantia called The Toast. in remembrance of those who gave their lives for our country. Thanks for watching.
Seems like lately all that I hear is how bad we have it, living in fear. Some good men have died, they laid down their lives, leaving behind the children and wives. So everybody quiet down and listen to me. I want to toast some men and their bravery, like Desmond Doss on Hacksaw Ridge. There's a man I could stand with. I'd like to raise my glass and drink inside. Before Pat Tillman, whiskey for Chris Kyle. There's no greater sight than the red, white, and blue, flying high in the sky. That eagle is too. Now I stand for the anthem out of respect for soldiers who died for me that I never met. So everybody quiet down and listen to me. I want to toast some men and their bravery, like Desmond Doss on Hacksaw Ridge. There's a man I could stand with. I'd like to raise my glass and drink in style. Before Pat Tillman, whiskey for Chris Kyle. I'd like to raise my glass and just drink for a while. Before Pat Tillman, a whiskey for Chris Kyle. Before Pat Tillman, a whiskey for Chris Kyle.